Well, good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome indeed to the XPRIZE Healthspan Awards. My name is Ollie Barrett, and it's an absolute honor to be your MC for this evening. Wherever you've come from, whichever organization you represent, welcome. This is absolutely remarkable. This is the first milestone for this XPRIZE Healthspan. It is the only competition of its kind. Now, you know this already, but to remind guests and viewers from around the world, it is here to revolutionize healthy aging for all of us. Now, why? Well, all is clear, because this is about incentivizing real-world, measurable gains in health span, meaningful improvements in how people live, how they move, how they think, how they function in their daily life. What the teams in this building are doing matters enormously. So what we have, as you will hear, is a clear time-bound challenge, pushing innovators, and the teams here are absolutely incredible, from around the world to move beyond preclinical or early stage research, really to develop scalable, human-ready interventions. So tonight is about recognizing those innovators, those teams from countries spanning the globe. So first, to set the scene, someone who needs very little introduction as the founder and the chair of XPRIZE itself, please welcome to the stage Peter H. Diamandis, MD. Peter, good to see you. Okay.
Thank you, Ollie. Hello, everybody. Good evening. How you guys doing? Who wants an extra 20 years of healthy life? And who wants more than that? That's the goal, right? There is nothing of greater value than your health, right? The greatest gift you can give yourself, your family, the world, is that extra health. You know, today we've got a 17-year gap between our life expectancy and our health expectancy, and we're out to change that. You know, I believe we're living during the most exciting time ever in human history, a time where computation, sensors, networks, AI, robotics, 3D printing, synthetic biology, AR, VR, blockchain, all these technologies are accelerating at exponential rates. We're going to see more progress in the next 10 years between 2025 and 2035 than we saw in the last century between 1925 and today. And I want to see as much of that as I can, right? I hope you do as well. And evolution dealt us a set of cards, and those cards were, you're healthy until typically age 30, and then it's all downhill from there. Your stem cell populations, your hormonal levels, your muscle levels, you're done procreating, and your job is now to die and not take food out of your grandchildren's mouths. I think we should change that, and that's our mission. First and foremost, it's about extending health span to match our life expectancy. So those last 16 years aren't spent in abject pain. No one wants that. Today, we're here with $111 million in prize money, $101 million prize, and a $10 million bonus prize. This is one of 3 XPRIZes at the $100 million level. And believe me, 31 years after the XPRIZE started, I still pinch myself that we have that. I am waiting for our first $1 billion prize, though. We'll see what that becomes. I want to take a moment and recount the history here. The first conversation on this topic took place in 2005. We had just awarded the $10 million Ansari XPRIZE that Anusha Ansari and her family had funded. That $10 million drove 26 teams from 7 countries to spend $100 million. They're all optimists, right? And a guy named Aubrey de Grey, standing right here, approaches me with Peter Thiel and said, how about a longevity prize? And we look at it, and like, how do you award a prize? You have to wait 30 years to see if it works. And it didn't move forward then. Then a guy named Sergey Young, that many of you know, one of our benefactors, comes and says, I'm going to write a check for $500,000 to study this idea again. And he did, and we did. And in a key meeting that took place with Dr. George Church at Harvard Medical School, George said, listen, longevity isn't your goal, it's can you restore function? In other words, can you rejuvenate the system? And can you do it in more than just one system? And if you can do that, then you've got something. So that began a conversation around a age reversal prize, a restoration prize, and then finally on the conversation of a XPRIZE for Healthspan. I had an effort, like this is my wheelhouse. It's like I want this for myself and for everybody I love and care about. And I set out, as I normally do, to go and raise the capital. I had a fateful meeting with a dear friend, Chip Wilson, Chip, the founder of Lululemon, who stood up and said, yes, I will participate. I won't put up the full 100 million, which was the goal. I'll put up, 35 million, 25 for the main purse, 10 for this FSHD challenge, which we'll hear more about. And then he said, can I make it bigger than Elon's $100 million prize? I said, what do you have in mind? He goes, how about a $101 million prize? And I said, Chip, if you put up the extra million, we'll make it that. And we did. It was then a fateful conversation with Mahmoud Khan from Hevolution, think of health and evolution, out of Riyadh, who had been a dear friend for 20 years. He's represented here by Bill Green, and Hevolution stroked a check for $40 million. We have in the room here another 10 of our donors. I'm one of them, but would those donors please step up and be recognized? Please stand up if you're a donor. And these individuals, thank you. These individuals have all written checks between $1 million and $10 million. And in the final result, we've raised over $150 million for something that deserves billions, right? After all, what is your health truly worth? But it's working because not only has it led us to today, but we have had over 600 teams from around the world register. And it's not over yet. While we're awarding 40 winners today, congratulations to all of these winners who are each getting $250,000, and to a number of the FSHD. These are the Milestone 1 awardees. The competition remains open because there may be a breakthrough next year, and we welcome those teams to come. Our goal is to search the world for the most compelling, most real, most accessible treatments that will up the life and health span of individuals. One of the benefits we have is that every single human on planet, all 8 billion of us, suffer from the same disease of aging. If something works in Boston to reverse your functional age 20 years, it will work in Botswana. And that is a beautiful thing, right? So, tonight, there will be a total of 40 award winners getting $10 million in our main prize, and then additional $2 million in our FSHD bonus prize. I want to thank SEMA and The Cure for hosting us here tonight. It's extraordinary, and I could go on for days, so I'm going to cut myself off. But thank you for an exciting time, right? We are living in a time where humanity is routinely sending our fellow citizens to space, soon to the moon, then to Mars, where we have on the verge of digital superintelligence, where we can credibly speak about adding 20 healthy years into our lives, and that 20 extra years buys us the bridge to the next 20 years and the next 20 years. We're living in the Star Trek universe. What you did between breakfast and dinner tonight, your ancestors would consider godlike. Please recognize how lucky we are to be alive today and how exciting it is. And I want to thank all of the teams competing here for taking that mantle. Believe me, if I weren't chairman of this organization, I'd be building a team to compete in it. It is my honor to introduce our next guest, our next speaker, who is an extraordinary entrepreneur and woman. She grew up watching the same stars I did. I was in New York. She was in Tehran. I was watching Star Trek, and so was she. She came to the US in high school, went on to college to become an entrepreneur, built a company called Telecom Technologies, sold to Sonos Networks for $1.3 billion. I met her through somebody while she was vacationing in Hawaii because her dream was to fly on a suborbital flight into space, and I pitched her on funding this idea of this XPRIZE. And she said yes, after I had had 150 no's. We named it the Ansari XPRIZE in her honor. Could not have had a more extraordinary sponsor. A couple years after the XPRIZE was won, she trained in Star City and flew on a Soyuz launch vehicle to become the first private female astronaut to go to space, to the space station for 11 days. Now we're so lucky, yes. Now we are so lucky to call her the CEO of this foundation, and in no small part, my motivation around this XPRIZE is to keep her healthy long enough to have her remain CEO for the next few decades. Please give it up for Anoush Ansari.
Thank you. I'm not going to take up a lot of time because you're not here to hear me talk, but I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you all to this very important milestone for us. We're excited to have you join us and be on the beginning of this journey with us. I've been CEO for the past 6 years, but as Peter said, I've been part of the foundation from its early days. And I love our mission. Our mission is to create an equitable world of abundance. It's a mouthful, but we do that through these incentivized competition by focusing the attention of the world's best entrepreneurs, of the people who care about solving problems, and focus their attention on specific things where we see the world needs innovation and breakthroughs. And that's how we achieve what we want to do. We've been around 30 years, believe it or not, and we've launched 30 prizes, and that leverage that Peter talked about, we've seen that over and over, and even more, up to 49 times of the prize purse spent in R&D, in innovation, in investment in these teams and technologies. But creating a world of abundance, if we're not healthy to enjoy that world, would not mean anything. So that's why this prize is so important. And I need to thank all those visionaries, the sponsors, the benefactors who helped us from those early days, as Peter described, launch this competition and take it to the place it is today. We have an incredible journey ahead of us. This is just milestone 1. So there's a lot more exciting news to be had over the next few years. But let's go back to the beginning of the prize and watch a video that tells you about this journey. Thank you.
Time is the universal constant. We're all bound to it, formed by it. Though we can't stop the clock, what if we could give ourselves the opportunity to live a better quality of life, far longer than we ever imagined? By 2050, the global population of people over 60 years old is expected to nearly double, but we're not anticipating a similar increase in health. That's why XPRIZE is launching our largest prize ever. XPRIZE Healthspan is a 7-year, $101 million global competition to revolutionize how we approach human aging. Leading this innovative prize is Dr. Jamie Justice.
What we need is a call to arms to bring us together and actually move us forward in tandem towards a common goal.
Healthspan will incentivize teams to develop groundbreaking therapeutics that target biological aging to improve function and extend healthy life by 10 years. with a target of 20 years.
The economic impacts for this XPRIZE Healthspan are huge. Adding just one additional year of healthy living to the global population is worth $38 trillion.
Aging impacts every single person on this planet and is one of the greatest challenges of our time.
Aging is not a fixed property. We're more than the candles on a birthday cake. We actually have a biology that can be targeted and treated.
It's one of the most important things we can do. And for that reason, we're launching this prize right now in the early 2020s with a target towards hitting a solution by the year 2030.
We're looking for equitable, accessible solutions that can improve function for anyone around the globe.
XPRIZE Healthspan will democratize health and create a future where the potential of aging matches the wisdom that comes with it.
I would say, as a closure more or less, that it's important the older you get to try to make the best of every single day.
Together, we can change the narrative of what it means to age. Join us on this journey.
To find out more about how you can be involved with XPRIZE Healthspan, head to xprize.org/healthspan.
What a terrific film. I think the energy in this prize is absolutely palpable. Well, we've gone from stargazing to star connecting. And if you're just joining us, we are about to recognize 40 of the teams at this first milestone. So live long and prosper has new meaning here in New York. Well, beam me up, Jamie, I'm about to say, because from the screen to the stage, let us introduce a real visionary in this field of health. Jamie, you're here already. Jamie, you snuck up on me here.
I was beamed up.
IRL. Let me leave. Can I just tell you just one tiny thing? I was absolutely honored to be at the Global Healthspan Summit in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia recently. And colleagues and friends said to me afterwards, Ollie, what stood out? And I said, I'll tell you what stood out. The XPRIZE Healthspan Award. And the reason it was brought to life on stage that day is because of you. Honored guests, let me leave you in the capable hands of Dr. Jamie Justice. Jamie.
Thank you, Ollie. So first, I want to say a big thank you to Ollie. Not only we also made an impression on one another, and I'm really happy that you're here to join us in New York. And I want to thank Peter and Anusha for their kind introductions and the opening that they've given us, and for the opportunity that they've given me, and for the hope and the belief in making this prize possible. Without them, without our sponsors, without our teams, none of this would happen. So I am absolutely honored and delighted to be here. Not only am I grateful for our sponsors, but again, I was really nervous when I left my lab and started to work on this competition. So worried. This competition is only as good as the teams who show up to make it possible. Only as good as the solutions that come out. And I am so proud of the work that you've all done, for the incredible innovations that have come out of our 40 teams, for the support of our scientific advisors, of our friends, our endpoints committee, and our judges. This is truly a community-built competition, a collaboration as we all work on this to make a difference together. And so now, first, a quick look back. How did we get here? And where did we come from? So we've already gotten a little word about why we're doing this competition. And we really are focused on healthspan. And so over the last 100 years, we've changed how we age and what our population dynamics look like. We are now living around 30 years longer than previous generations from 100 years ago. And yet, when we look from the World Health Organization, they have a health-adjusted life expectancy, so we can see how well we're living within those years. And unfortunately, there's a sizable gap. Peter already talked about this. These 12 years, that's for the United States. So this can even get larger in that gap around the world. And not only that, but it's not just dominated by single disease states. What we see when we age is that we're more susceptible to any disease and also disability. And so there's now a 32% increase in our global disability-adjusted life years for the persons over 65. So we have to break out of this disease mindset and really start looking at the biology of aging if we want new solutions. And that's where this prize comes in. And so we've set up an enormous challenge for our global teams. We're asking that the winning team has to demonstrate that their therapeutic approach can restore muscle, cognitive, and immune function in older persons. And we're asking them to do this in a time-locked competition so that by 2030, they've conducted at least 1-year clinical trials so that we can show that this therapeutic works. And we've indexed the awarding to the magnitude of the improvement that they can show across the 3 systems. And so if you're able to offset the typical declines that would be saying in 10 years, 15, or 20 years, we have awards that increase in gradation from there. So again, this is a huge challenge, and it's going to be very difficult for our teams. And we've also made it difficult by putting it on an accelerated timeline. So anyone who's run trials, 7 years might feel like a really long time to the lay audience. But if you've actually done the work, you've been in the lab, you've tested, this is really hard. And so what we're asking our teams to do is really accelerate how they develop drugs or therapeutics to meet this timeline. We launched in 2023 in Riyadh at the Hevolution's Global Healthspan Summit. In the years since then, we've pushed our teams to develop, we've pushed our teams to enter, and my goodness, you guys have done it. And so where we are now is we have the opportunity to award our first top 40 teams for Healthspan and also our first 8 FSHD finalists tonight. These are the teams, plus addition, that will go on and compete in the semifinal stage. In 2026, we'll reconvene. We'll look at what happens in those first early stage clinical trials, look at some of the data, reconvene our judges, and identify the top 10 teams that will be awarded as finalists. Those teams then go on from there and run trials that we can look at the data, bring some of the insights together, and award a finalist in 2030. Okay, so again, I've said you guys have shown up. I wasn't joking. My goal for the year was I thought maybe I'd get 300 teams. I thought that was the moonshot. Peter pushed me to 500. What we ended up with was over 1,000 people joining our site, starting to create a team, and putting their ideas forward. Out of those, we had over 600 fully register for the competition from around the world. 58 countries are represented. From those, we had completed submissions from 200, and around 200 of those were of sufficient, they were fully complete so that we could pass them to our judges. These teams come from everywhere. So I mentioned over 600 teams around the globe. This is 58 countries represented in those that went on for Milestone 1 judging. We are now over 60 countries because new teams continue to enter as late registrants. They're from all continents except one. I'm only missing Antarctica. And so, again, we're not closed. If you're a late competitor and you're from Antarctica, please call me. I would love to fill out this map. And so again, this is where we are, and I think this really just goes to show those who are thinking of investing or starting new pipelines or looking into this a new area. This is a huge field. There's a global interest. There's a lot of ideas and a lot of potential innovations, and so this is our starting line. And now, if you want to see who's really in the competition, we're going to make the awards tonight, but I want to draw your attention to these 2 reports. The first is a qualified teams book. We're going to be announcing our top 40 award winners. They're not the only teams going on as semifinalists. This book actually shows you the top 100. I want you to go through and look at some of the companies, the teams, the universities, the students that are out there and developing. See what they're doing. Look for ways to collaborate. Reach out. Next, I want to point your attention to this innovations landscape. I told you about all of those qualifying submissions. I read every page of every application that you guys put in. And I'm really, really impressed by what's come out. And we pulled insights from those applications to get trends for the field. Where are we going? What's coming up next? So I encourage you to look through these 2 books and get ideas and to reach out anytime. This is a growing field, and the only way we're going to grow it is if we work together on it. And now who's winning? This is our top 40 quick sneak peek of the solutions that came forward. We have some of our judges in the audience. Our judges looked through each of these teams and they identified teams that had highly innovative solutions. They identified teams who had a feasibility of approach. So do they have a therapeutic that might be ready to advance to clinical trials this year? Do they have evidence behind that to suggest that there's plausibility that this therapeutic might affect muscle, cognitive, and immune function, and that they might be ready to test those in the next year? And then finally, do they have a scalable solution? And so scalability, right? If this therapeutic works for one person, great for that one person. But we're talking about global aging, so we need scalable, generalizable solutions. And so what our judges did, and some of our judges are in the audience, I see a few of them now. If you're willing to, please raise your hands. And if for those teams that are here, stick around till Wednesday. You'll get to talk and meet the judges. What they did and what they looked at was to make sure, right, is to get a broad section of teams. They didn't do this intentionally. You guys brought the solutions to us. And so what we have is a range of therapeutics, everything from novel drugs, repurposed drugs. We have multiple different biologic therapeutics that are coming through. Really recommend to look at some of those. We have a number of teams that are proposing gene therapies. We have different stem cells. We have novel immunotherapies and anything in between. We also have a lot of teams that are sitting in what we call multimodals, is that we didn't constrain the solution sets. You guys tell us what you think will work, and we give you an opportunity to test it on a level playing field. And so that's what's happening here. These multimodals, it might be a novel drug or a repurposed agent, maybe a nutraceutical, but you're thinking about how you want to apply it and personalizing it to the individual. Maybe you have a clinic that's made incredible advancements in how we can do this in a really strategic way. I'm so excited to see the breadth of these solutions and to give you all the opportunity to show us what works. And so, again, I could not be happier to see the development, and none of this development would be possible if it weren't for our teams, and it certainly wouldn't be possible if it weren't for our sponsors. And I want to highlight our two co-title sponsors, Hevolution and also SOLVE FSHD. I've given you a snapshot into the world of the Healthspan competition, but that's only one of the prizes we're running. The other is our FSHD Bonus Prize, where we can use this as an opportunity to advance therapeutics that can really solve FSHD in our lifetime. And so with that, I'm going to bring Ollie back on stage. And again, really so excited to announce this competition and really delighted to welcome our two co-title sponsors. Actually, we're going to actually bring up Eva and Chip to talk about SOLVE FSHD.
Yeah, we will. Thank you very much. Jamie Justice, everybody. Thank you, Jamie. Word reaches us that we've just had a very excited call from a team calling themselves Project Penguin. Very interesting. So thank you. Why don't we have another round of applause for Jamie Justice, everybody. Thank you, Jamie. Well, as Jamie says, we are so grateful to SOLVE FSHD, our co-title sponsor. So why don't we welcome up to the stage its Executive Director, Eva Chen, and its founder, Chip Wilson. Welcome both. Hello. Thank you for being here, Chip. Great to see you. Thank you. Please.
Wow.
Now, welcome both, and thank you so much for your support. Chip, why don't we take a few steps back? What inspired you to start SOLVE FSHD in the first place?
Okay, great. Thank you. SOLVE FSHD is a muscular dystrophy. So I was one of those people diagnosed and went into total denial about it. Yeah. And then two things happened at the same time. I started to fall, and I started to make money. So knowing that I didn't want to live my life in frailty and kind of like not in Healthspan, and also I didn't want to die with money, it made sense for me to then look at SOLVE FSHD and set up a company. So we started off over in Leiden. We put about $40 million into a company in the Netherlands. Nothing happened. We just couldn't get it going. We decided, okay, well, we need to like rethink this. So we brought the company over to Canada. We started Solve FSHD, and I decided to put $100 million into it. Agnostic. I don't care if it's like how we fund something, how it gets there. We just want to get to a solve. Yeah. And so that was really great, but that was also inspired by listening to Peter and the XPRIZE going, like, you need a big dollar amount in order to get people involved in it.
Yeah, and I'm going to come on shortly to what called to you, apart from Peter's the human connection there in a minute. But just stepping back from Solve FSHD, just remind us, Eva, of the mission of the organization itself for FSHD, but also beyond. Just tell us a little bit more.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. So Solve FSHD, yes, we are mission focused. We've heard that word tonight, but we're mission focused on getting to a solve for the disease FSHD. And so we are really trying to be a catalyst for innovation and try to get at some of the barriers that exist for drug developers and to really incentivize innovation for FSHD. And our goal is to get to what we call a solve by the end of 2027. And we've defined SOLVE as having 3 therapeutics in pivotal clinical trials, so phase 2 or 3. And those can go after either the genetic cause or molecular basis of FSHD or muscle regeneration, which is really important to Chip and others with FSHD. And I think it's that muscle regeneration in the context of a genetic or epigenetic disease that really aligns with the goals of Healthspan and the aging biology.
And presumably, Eva, there's an extent to which FSHD is under-recognized. I wonder if it's often misdiagnosed. So in other words, wider almost campaigning opportunity here to just raise that profile.
That's right. Just to have greater awareness, and it's great to see so many teams, and part of then this competition is to get more scientists, more teams to think about FSHD and how their therapeutic approach may apply to the specific disease pathology of FSHD.
So, Chip, there are many things that you could deploy your resources towards around this. What was it about XPRIZE Healthspan that made you think, yes, this is one for me?
Well, I mean, as you can tell from just Peter standing up and just he exudes like, I'm going to get this done. And so part of that was, becoming friends with Peter and understanding what he was doing. And then really seeing the types of people that he could surround himself with, the type of team he has. I mean, quality people. And this isn't like we're, we're kind of going to get something done. No, we're going to make it happen. And then I really do, again, like the $101 million. I think that brings all the pharmas, it brings the academics, it brings the companies all to bear. I really love where I thought it was, you'd end up putting 10 times the amount of the $100 million in, but I heard someone say today it's 30 times. So that's a big number.
Yeah, and stand by, guests. We've got an exciting announcement coming on other partners coming to the table, which we may announce very shortly. Eva, tell us why you think it's so important and such a good opportunity to bring Solve FSHD into this challenge, almost as a sort of an additional important element.
Right. So I think, early on there was a lot of discussion on, should we just fund $100 million for FSHD? Should we fund $100 million just for Healthspan? And we went back and forth, and I said, well, the two are different, right? FSHD has a specific epigenetic cause, and Healthspan and aging are different. But there was this great solution in that we could be part of the Healthspan, but then offer this bonus prize in FSHD. Again, there is some common underlying biology, but FSHD is a rare disease, can be, again, genetically tested and therefore a specific treatment. But it's, again, getting the word out there to a broader audience, getting more scientists, more teams to think about it, look at it differently. I mean, FSHD has had a great fundamental basis of science built from a handful of scientists, but we need to broaden that approach and get the message out more
and joining
widely.
those dots across these teams. So, Chip, as you look out to 40 of the 100 teams recognized today, 40 receiving this initial award and 8 specifically around Solve FSHD, what would your message be to them today?
I just say 100% commitment. I think none of us want to end our life not having a legacy or die trying to do something great in life. And I really come from 100% commitment, make something happen. not 98, but 100. And I wish you all the great life that you'd all deserve by doing what you're doing. And thank you.
Yeah, here's to that. Thank you, Chip. And in a sense, Eva, I wonder to what extent, these teams reflect the sort of innovation that you're hoping you will magnetize towards SOLVE FSHD sort of more broadly. So a final reflection on that, perhaps.
Yeah, but before, I just want to say one more comment. I think in relationship to Chip and everything I've learned in the rare disease community, there's a sense of urgency. So urgency and obviously thoroughness is really important. And I think that's what the entrepreneurs bring to this environment, a sense of urgency as well. But again, I think we're encouraged and excited about the breadth of new therapies we're hearing about and seeing about, teams that have gone into the FSHD Bonus Prize. Everything from the gene therapies we were familiar with to innovative AI and novel technology. So really, really excited for the future.
Well, look, as we say thank you, let's just begin or finish where we started by just recognizing, Chip, for you, this is deeply personal. So on a very, very profound note, we just say thank you for your generosity, for your energy, and for your commitment. It is appreciated by those here in this auditorium, but by so many people beyond it. Thank you very much.
We're all in it together.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Eva. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, let us recognize those top 8 finalist teams competing in the XPRIZE Healthspan FSHD Bonus Prize who are valiantly working on those solutions. And they're going to be receiving a collective $2 million milestone award. Let's hear it for that, everybody. So let's hear just very briefly a breakdown of the solution types submitted. The proposed interventions really span 6 primary modalities, as you'll see. Among these, biologics and drugs and small molecules are the most common. So that highlights a focus on approaches to cure, manage symptoms, or modify disease progression. So overall, the feedback we've had is that the team's proposed FSHD approaches encompass a very wide range of interventions. So why don't we mark this milestone by recognizing that these are the visionaries leading innovation for a cure for FSHD. As we read your name out, if you're in the auditorium and able to stand, please do so. Congratulations, Altai Therapeutics. Well done. We recognize Ani AI. Well done, Armatus Bio. Armatus Bio. Well done, greetings. Next up, Asaji Labs. Well done. Next up, does what it says on the tin. Beat FSHD. Congratulations. Here's to that. EpiCRISPR Biotechnologies. Well done. Modalis Therapeutics. Outstanding. Do we see you? And SNPM Chudenice. Well done. Well done. Let's have a collective round of applause for those teams. Well done. And we are hugely grateful that you've joined XPRIZE Healthspan on this journey, and we look forward to hearing and seeing what you accomplish next. So we are reaching the recognition point for the 40 teams at this milestone of this first award. But I teased you with this a moment ago. We have a very exciting announcement, and that is this breaking news. Leading pharmaceutical and biotechnology company GSK is officially joining the XPRIZE Healthspan competition as the official pharmaceutical sponsor. So we are incredibly proud to welcome them to the community and hugely look forward to the impact of this partnership. So with that, I'm delighted to introduce to the stage the Senior Vice President of GSK, Dr. Kaivan Kavandi. Welcome. Thank you and congratulations. Please, Stefan, did I say Kayvan or Kaivan?
Kayvan.
Kayvan, welcome and thank you very much. Just give us a sense of how this challenge really aligns with GSK's work in this area.
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled to be here, Ollie. Thanks very much. GSK likes to tackle big problems of scale, and I think this is probably as big as it gets. I'll probably take a moment just to describe how it's a problem that's been hiding in plain sight, and it's almost remarkable that a concept that feels quite futuristic actually is very much real and present. And I guess I think about this through three different perspectives, as a physician, as a translational scientist, and as a drug developer. And if I can take maybe just a minute to describe a few anecdotes. I worked in the National Health Service in the UK as a physician, and every patient that comes through the door with an acute medical issue is triaged at the time of presentation as to whether they're appropriate for escalating care, whether they can withstand a high dependency unit admission, intensive care, and indeed whether they should be for resuscitation. And that decision is made currently based on a clinical judgment, a subjective clinical judgment. And you hear terms thrown around like physiological reserve. And really what we're trying to characterize is the frailty or the immune aging of the individual, but it's done incredibly crudely, and it's clearly very impactful and determines patients' outcomes. From a scientific perspective, my background's in academic cardiology. We're very good at understanding pathobiology with respect to the insults that the disease presents, but we almost completely neglect or overlook the intrinsic capacity of the individual to withstand that insult. Cardiology is one of the most mature areas of therapeutic development, and so it's the one where we couldn't ignore that variable, so we have all this sophistication around cholesterol and plaque, etc., and then we throw in a crude measure, which is age, into the risk score. And for those of you that remember mathematics, I always think of it as you've got precision up to 100 decimal places for how you're characterizing the inflammatory stressor, and you're multiplying against something that you're rounding to the nearest 1,000, which of course is a fallacy. And then finally, which is the most perverse of all, I'm afraid, is therapeutic developments, where the basic premise of everything that we do and the regulatory framework that we work in is to change how patients feel, function, and survive. However, that translates in reality to clinical trials where you have a precedented primary efficacy measure, which typically has some sort of prognostic relevance. And then when we come to feel and function, we just have some very, very crude questionnaires with enormous signal to noise. So I guess we've kind of been fumbling around in the dark here. And it's just time that we brought the sophistication to the field. So
time for clarity, time for sophistication. So global multinational, headquartered out of the UK. Why Healthspan? Why do you think, and why XPRIZE Healthspan, what do you see as an opportunity for some of the teams in this room to really shift the needle? What made you say yes to this partnership?
Well, I'll just double click on the final point I made, that at any given time we're running dozens, if not hundreds, of clinical trials. And for every one of those, if it's a neurological drug, we'll have a secondary efficacy measure of cognition. If it's a drug in osteoarthritis, and we've got one of our experts here with us today from GSK who's going to be talking tomorrow, we'll look at measures of movement. And then in our immunology portfolio, we look very carefully at underlying biomarkers of immune health. So actually, when you think about the domains that Jamie described, they're incredibly relevant to the way in which we assess treatment effects and how a patient feels, functions, survives. And it really transcends every therapy area in our portfolio.
So it is a milestone, and so we should allow ourselves a moment of optimism, I hope. What do you hope we could achieve together over the next 5 years?
So I think in very practical terms, and I love the bold ambitions that have been described, but I think that putting the patient first in every single therapeutic development program, where that simultaneous equation of understanding the stressors that promote disease, but that simultaneous equation of the intrinsic capacity of the individual systematically across every development program at GSK, I think that is the scale of opportunity here.
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you for being here, but also will you pass on our thanks to your colleagues around the world on what is going to be a formidable partnership. Thank you, Kaifon, for your
Thanks
help.
very much.
Thank you. Really good to see you. Thank you. Cheers. So somebody who thinks a lot about partnerships and impact in this field and beyond is our next guest. Please give a very warm welcome to the stage to the Senior Vice President at XPRIZE, Elaine Hungenberg. Elaine, welcome. Come on up.
Hi, everyone. As you've heard tonight, XPRIZE competitions are bold and audacious, especially Healthspan. But what many don't realize is how lean our internal teams are. To be responsible stewards of our sponsors' philanthropy, we operate with a small yet mighty staff. That's why we rely heavily on exceptional partners to bring these prizes to life. Team recruitment partners, operational partners, venue partners, testing partners. And tonight, I'm especially grateful to benefactor David Cumming for introducing us to one such partner, the University of Utah. The U is a world-class institution that, like XPRIZE, believes deeply in entrepreneurship, innovation, and the power of human ingenuity. As our Healthspan teams conduct research around the globe, they'll need a centralized data coordinating center to validate their work, and we're thrilled that the University of Utah has raised its hand to take on this vital role. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the President of the University of Utah, Taylor Randall.
Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, everyone, for allowing me a few minutes to just kind of brag a little bit about my fantastic university. We are a university with the audacious goal of becoming one of the most entrepreneurial in the world. We love to break down barriers. Entrepreneurship starts first and foremost with our students. Every year, we start almost 400 student-led companies, which many of them turn into incredible, incredible ventures. We also encourage all of our faculty to start new ventures. And in fact, if you look at many of the global statistics, you will see our faculty leading the way. But we not only like to start our own companies, we like to support ventures. And for us, supporting the XPRIZE, thank you, Peter. Thank you very much, for all of you, for allowing us this incredible opportunity. We love to support the development of new ideas that are absolutely scalable and world-changing. Our data coordinating center is one of the largest in the United States. It is located in one of the most unique universities in the United States. I believe there are only 9 such universities that have a healthcare system and a comprehensive research university that report up through the same structure. Unfortunately, on most days, that's me. But it allows us an incredible nimbleness to be able to accommodate the many, many different demands that this prize will place on a data coordinating center. The other tools that the Data Coordinating Center has at its fingertips, we actually own as a university one of the largest reference labs in the United States, almost $1 billion operation that actually reports up through, which allows you access to tissue samples and all sorts of things. We also maintain at our university one of the world's largest population databases. This is a unique combination of electronic health records, genealogies, and genetics. It is simply amazing and has allowed our researchers and those that work with our researchers to discover genes and gene therapies sometimes not found in other parts of the world. But anyway, we're certainly grateful to be a part of this. If I could, at the end, have my data coordinating team stand up so I can introduce them to all of you. They are the ones that will do the hard work. They're right here. I hope over the next few days that you'll get to know them and know their incredible capabilities. I know for all of this is deeply personal. My mother, a remarkable 85-year-old, somehow has survived on the mantra that, Taylor, I'd be healthier, but I just love eating potato chips. That is not the luxury that all of us have in our lives, and I hope that this prize yields something more than eating potato chips. Anyway, thank you very, very, very much. Good to see you all.
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you, Elaine, as well. Well, the chips aren't down this evening, I can tell you that for nothing. It's time to recognize one of the XPRIZE Healthspan's co-title sponsors. Without them, this would really not be possible. I'm talking, of course, about the Hevolution Foundation. Can we have a round of applause for that extraordinary organization? It is a global leader. It is a global leader. It is driving innovation and impact, and we are so grateful for their partnership. Hevolution's Chief Investment Officer is with us. Please welcome Dr. William Green.
Thank you.
Very good to see us, Bill. Thank you for your support. How are you?
Awesome.
Give us a sense, William, why do you think that this challenge gives us a chance to really shift the needle on healthy aging?
It's really gratifying to see that interest and engagement with health span and aging research and investment is increasing. But a challenge of this magnitude requires the best from all of us. In addition to technological innovation, the semi-finalist teams here represent out-of-the-box thinking and scientific creativity. And those are the things that really can make big advances happen from areas that we might not even have expected. It's incredibly exciting.
And any sense so far, I mean, relatively early days, but you have been connecting with some of the teams. Any reflection on some of the progress that you've seen, even at this early stage?
First of all, seeing the biologic development, the technologic development, the advancement in thinking required to get to this stage, to the semifinalist stage, in the time frame that it's happened, is really inspiring. It's incredibly exciting. And I am particularly excited about the diversity of approaches, more biologic, more technologic, using information we already have but maybe haven't thought about in a particular way. Seeing how those advances are happening already in the time frame that we've been doing this is incredibly exciting.
Thank you, William. So many of us in the room will be familiar with Hevolution. If you did bump into someone in the elevator and they said, just remind us what you're up to, how do you encapsulate it? Because it is several things.
It's several things connected by one thing. And that one thing is we are completely dedicated to advancing healthy lifespan for all of humanity. And the advancement part's important, the healthy is important, the lifespan's important, and all of humanity is really important. And we do that across the value chain, from funding basic research to applied research to translation into companies and even forward from there.
And by the way, is your annual budget a closely guarded secret? Can I put you on the spot? Give us a glimpse. You're cringing.
I'm smiling. Look, if it's a closely guarded secret, it's a secret from me too. We don't publish our annual budget. We're in an interesting time globally. We've become one of the largest funders of basic research in aging, and we've started to make a real impact with our investments and even starting companies, and that'll continue.
Yeah, first class. So final question, just give us a glimpse. Thank you for your support of this challenge. A glimpse of what you hope the next 5 years for Hevolution Foundation will involve.
Well, as the science that we support advances, as the companies that we invest in move forward in their development, we look forward to seeing real-world outcomes of the investments that we're all making, and moving, if you will, from promise to proof is what it's all about. And I'm really excited to see how the semi-finalist teams here move forward too. It's going to be an incredible time for Hevolution, for XPRIZE, for Healthspan in general. And I'm really excited that I think we're going to see real-world outcomes in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that is exactly what I think is going to happen. Thank you for your support, Dr. William Green. Thank you very much indeed. Fantastic. Very good. Well, the time is now here to recognize the 40 teams. So as we get ready to do it, I am going to ask Jamie to come and join me on stage, but I'm going to ask you all in an unscripted 30 seconds, just be upstanding as we get ready, because this next session is the highlight. So come on, everyone stand up, tell your neighbor what you think of the show so far. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Jamie, come on up.
What's your technology?
Come on, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Give them a moment.
Yeah.
All right. So I think I go through and give an example of the therapeutics first.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
want me to advance to that next? Just
Yeah.
whenever you're
Yeah,
ready,
is
I'll
that okay?
flip to it. I think
Yeah.
that's the next slide.
Thank you, everybody. Please have a seat. Okay, so this is, thank you. And if you're just joining us, we are live in New York, although this is a global competition. So on behalf of XPRIZE and its Healthspan Challenge, welcome. In this auditorium are 40 teams being recognized from all around the world today. I'm joined on stage by Dr. Jamie Justice, the head of Healthspan at Health more generally at XPRIZE.
right.
Thank you, Jamie, for your support. So what we'll hear is each semi-finalist team has explored a diverse array of strategies to extend Healthspan, coupling breakthrough innovations with feasibility and safety. So generally speaking, the semi-finalist approaches span drugs and small molecules, biologics, medical devices, nutraceuticals, and functional foods, and multimodal therapies. So we might get some clarity on that, Jamie, as we go through, which are combination approaches, as we'll hear. So the punchline is that each of these Milestone 1 winners is being awarded $250,000 to support their ongoing work and conduct clinical trials in the next phase of the competition. That's what we're announcing today. So, teams, please stand. We'll do hopefully a group shot at the end, but please rise as your name is called. Firstly, we have our biologic team. So Jamie, how do we describe that? How would we sum up that work?
Great. So starting, we have biologics. We've grouped our teams. We're going to be announcing by category, as mentioned. So our biologics, this is it's an easier way to say biopharmaceuticals, right? So these are any things that actually came from living tissue. So this, again, could be manufactured, semi-synthesized, or are really dependent on protocols that could come from anything, whether it's recombinant DNA or could be from cell culture. Or they might be complex molecules. These would include things like vaccines, monoclonal antibodies, and other solutions that our teams may be bringing. So again, it's a fairly broad category. It encompasses a lot of different solutions, but it was one of the prominent solution sets that advanced into our top 40. So we're going to start with the biologics. Really excited. So some of these approaches are biologics, what we call as a monotherapy. So they're proposed alone as the primary therapeutic. Some were actually introduced as part of a combination approach or multimodal, but this is considered their primary. So again, we have broad solution sets, generally grouping these imperfectly. But again, if you're interested in the specific therapeutics, the specific approach, I encourage you to go to that team lookbook and back to that innovations landscape. And of course, come meet the teams. We're going to be around for a couple of days. I really hope all of you get a chance to meet and collaborate. But first, let's recognize you.
Okay, let's recognize them and stand by. Warning, I'm going to go through these at a fairly decent pace. Congratulations, Exomed. Please stand up. Well done. Well done. GI Innovation. Stand up and give us a wave. We will congratulate you. There you are in the third row. Well done. Next up, Godar Lab. Well done, Godar. You're in the house. We say well done. Next one, Chimera Labs. Well done. Well done. Next up, let's hear a roar for Lionheart Health. Lionheart Health. Well done. Well done. Next up, Longeveron Inc. Well done, team. Next, longevity immunotherapy. Very good.
Otherwise known as Immunus.
Immunus, well done. That's snappier, I like it. Next up, mini circle. Well done, team at the front. Congratulations, Mito tags. Mito tags, there they are. USA. Next up, a fiery one, Prometheus cell. There they are. From China, hello. And finally, beaming into 2025, we've got Time Traveler. That on Time Traveler? Congratulations. A team from Japan, welcome. Right, next up, it's on to our drug teams. Jamie, something to say about this category?
Great.
This group.
So this is probably a category most of us are familiar with. We think about drugs, we think about small molecules. So this is more traditional drug pipelines. This category is broad though. Once again, we're looking at things, these could be novel drugs, they could be they could be drugs that are in combination, or they might be repurposed. And when we think about repurposed, these are drugs that are already on the market. They're things that are right in front of us. Some of them may be even generic, but we're thinking about how to use them in a different context. We're thinking about them for aging and outside of disease class. So again, still a very broad group. These can be small molecules. These might be more of the traditional drugs that we're familiar with. And again, a really popular approach among our teams, either alone or in combination.
Great, thank you, Jamie, really helpful. This category is as follows. Ageless RX. Well done from the USA. Well done. Next up, Annie or ANI AI.
Can I really quick point out, taking a short break, you guys, this is the only double winner. They're an FSHD finalist and Healthspan semi-finalist team.
Very good. Congratulations, team. Congratulations, BioAge Labs.
Woo! Great.
Next up, Boston Healthspan. Congratulations, Intervene Immune. Next, Login or Longevity Innovator. We recognize Lono J. Yak. Well done, Met Healthspan. Well done, sir. Two more. We've got, it sounds like a basketball team. We've got the Mitochondrial All-Stars. A lot of support in the house for them. There we go. 3 points. Next up, RPRGAON Progeria. Well done from South Korea. Bit of soul at the end there. Thank you very much indeed. That concludes that category. Jamie, next up is our multimodal group. What should we know?
So our multimodal teams, again, I mentioned this earlier, some of our teams put in single therapies, monotherapies, some put in really targeted combinations. Others picked a little bit of each from these different categories we're presenting. They might have a biologic paired with a drug or a nutraceutical. A lot of these teams, actually almost all of these teams, also included some kind of lifestyle or behavioral intervention. That could be exercise, diet, sleep or circadian rhythm, and anything in between. So again, if you're interested in finding out more detail on what these teams are proposing, you can find it here. And so these are innovative approaches, maybe pairing the traditional or common with things that are unexpected. Or they might have just the right approach in pairing biomarkers or thoughtful clinical approaches and how those therapeutics are delivered.
Great, thank you, Jamie. So this is our penultimate group, and it lists as follows. Well done, Autophago.
How did you go?
Oh, Fagigo, forgive me, Autophagigo. I should say, there, got it. Thank you, well done. Well done, BioArmor.
Can I, really quick, huge highlight right now, that's one of our all-stars, Danny Kim. Danny Kim is leading a student team from Malaysia. So thank you, Danny. He's been a 6-time XPRIZer with student teams.
Congratulations. So speaking of rhythms, the next team is Circadian. Well done. Yeah, there we are. Next, the Healthy Longevity Clinic.
Right.
Front row.
Good.
Next, we recognize Japan Longevity Consortium.
Right.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Congratulations, the NUS Academy for Healthy Longevity. Okay, this one sounds close to home. NYC Vita. Okay, we recognize rejuvenation through low-frequency ultrasound. Well done. Next up, Goki Sanjivini. Well done, team from India, well done, welcome. 3 more. The Healthy Mind and Body. Penultimate winner in this category is IHU Health Age, or Healthage. Well done. And finally, Vita. Well done, Vita. Right. Our final category, Jamie, is nutraceutical teams.
Yes, okay, so nutraceuticals, once again, this is another broad class, I think they all are. Nutraceuticals, these are things that might actually be found in nature. So they could be extracts from different plants, herbals, or other. They might also, this is a broad category that we're using inclusively that also refer to functional foods. And so many of our teams are looking at therapies that are found in nature, found in supplements, they might be vitamins, or again, they're looking at really specific food components. So not just how you're feeding people, which is a lifestyle category, but this is really looking at that food as medicine.
Interesting. So could it be a gummy, Jamie? Would that
It
count?
could be, or it could be a smoothie. Some of our teams have that approach as well. So it could be something you take, it could be a pill form, could be liquid, or, you know, again, we have a lot of innovative solutions out there.
Well, here they are. Plenty of smoothies in the audience tonight, and I can assure you. Thank you, Jamie. Well done to the finalists in this category, starting with A New Dimension. Well done. Congratulations, Abe Yoando. We recognize Canadian Translational Geroscience Network. Next up, mitochondrial bioenergetics and ketone utilization, I should say, utilization. Thank you, team. So mitochondrial bioenergetics and ketone utilization. Next up, Team Glynac. Well done, Team Glynac. Second to last is Timeline. Okay, team from Switzerland, there we have it. And finally, well done, Yoxlow. Why don't we give each and every one of those 40 teams a huge collective round of applause. Well done. Thank you, and thank you, Jamie, for helping add colour to that range of categories. Jamie, can I just ask you a final quick question?
Of course.
A word of advice. We're going to spend at least a day together for the Investment Summit tomorrow together. A word of advice for the teams. Not how to win, but how to make the most of being in this amazing networking community. What would you say?
So this is a really great, so we have teams coming from everyone, right? Ideas from all corners of the globe. We have everything from a student team from around the world to pharma companies that are really well established. University teams that are, you know, the top of the Ivy League in the US and top 100 ranked around the world. None of these teams is above the other right now. You're all on the same level. And so what I encourage you to do is to learn from one another, to reach out to one another. We're giving, again, a Milestone 1 award. This is $10 million split across 40 teams, $250,000 US. That may or may not be enough for your next stage. So for a lot of these teams and a lot of the other people in the audience, these teams need your support. They need your partnerships. They need additional funding. They're looking for investors. They're looking for opportunity. If they have students, they're looking for training opportunities. So again, this is a really great chance for us to actually build this as a global community, to work together and build those really strong strategic partnerships that are needed. The top 40 teams, and indeed the top 100 who aren't even here, but are watching online and may be here in the next few days, we encourage those teams to continue to meet one another, to build relationships. You can merge with another team if you see a solution you like. You can bring in additional help. You can create new partners. You can tweak your idea if you hear or know something that might work better. This is not a closed competition. The next stage is not isolated to the top 40 teams. We are so proud of you, but there are new solutions coming in. And so again, this competition is what we make it, and we have an opportunity to make it something truly special to build this field together. So if I can give anyone advice, it's to look forward, not to look back, keep pushing. And for many of you that were right at the cusp of going from that top 40 to the top 100, some of you just need a little more evidence. That's what our judges looked at. And so it can turn, really encourage you to continue, keep pushing, keep striving, is that it could be a high school team, or it could be an established university or pharma company. We just don't know, and neither do you.
Thank you, Jamie. Wow. You can merge with another team. If that doesn't add zest to the networking, I don't know what does. This is very exciting. We are hugely grateful to all of the innovative teams. So on behalf of everyone who's not in this auditorium, thank you for the work that you're doing. To recap, and please let's share this far and wide, and let's use that hashtag to get this on as many radars as possible. This is the first of many really important milestones in this competition. So all of those semi-finalist teams, all of you, will begin early stage clinical trials over the next year. And in mid-26, XPRIZE will announce, as Jamie says, the 10 finalists selected to win that next $10 million milestone prize. So the finalist teams, as you've heard, will then advance to test their therapeutic solution for up to 1 year in adults aged 50 to 80 years in clinical trials running from 2026 to 2029, all the way through to that finish line, as it were, in 2030, when the grand prize winner will be awarded up to $81 million. So a huge reward for that winning team. Now, we're going to welcome Peter Diamandis back up to the stage in a minute, but just on an entirely practical note for our special guests here, and to say thank you for joining us online as well. If you're here with us in New York, we hope you'll join us upstairs for some refreshments in our post-reception, mainly to get to know each other even better. And by the way, for the Investment Summit, and thanks to our partners at Cure and at Longevity Investors, we've got some semi-private rooms for you which are available to rent out to continue those connecting discussions. So really good luck with those, and congratulations again to all of you. To close out, let's give a huge cheer back to the stage to the person who kicked this off, Peter Diamandis. Thank you, Peter.
So proud of her, and for Ollie, amazing job. You know, just thank you for your energy, your passion. I love the diversity, and there can be only one. Well, there could be many. At the end of the day, there's no greater journey, right? How long have we dreamt of the fountain of youth? It's time. It's time for us. And the realization is we've already bent the curve. And we've seen over the last century, antibiotics, better sanitation, pasteurization. These things move us forward, 3 months per year over the 20th century. It's time to get that curve back on towards longevity escape velocity. I'm amazed by the diversity of teams we have here. And just to call them out again, we have teams from Australia, Malaysia, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Canada, India, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, China, Spain, and the US. Anybody I miss? UK? Excuse me, and the UK. And France. How could I miss France? I was taking notes furiously, I'm sorry. I think it's important to realize that we're facing something that doesn't just, pursue one nationality or one color or one religion. It's something that all of us face, and that is the slow decline of aging. Evolution sort of gave us a deck of cards that didn't care about us after a certain point. But we do. And as it was impossible to fly before the Wright brothers took flight, as it was impossible to do a multitude of things, that's what we humans do. We overcome what are considered barriers over and over again. So I want to echo what Jamie said. This competition is just beginning. The hard work is just starting. I do expect we'll probably see another 50, 60, 70 teams register over the next couple of years, especially as new breakthroughs come in. I urge you guys to look at the other teams not as competition, but as partners. You may be strong in muscle, and the other one is strong in cognition. I remember back when the first XPRIZE took place, one of the teams said to me, the best thing that can happen is that we win. The next best thing is that someone wins. And I think that's true for all of us. You're here not for the money, that's clear. You're here because this is your highest purpose in life. This is your massive transformative purpose. And what a great game to be playing. What a great journey. And what an incredible time to be alive right now, when we can actually credibly think about and discuss these things. So, congratulations to all the teams. Excited to be dishing out another set of $1 million checks. And I don't want a $10 million check, a $60 million or $70 million check. I want all 81 million being paid out for 20 extra healthy years. All right, give it up. We'll see you guys upstairs. Thank you all. Thank you very, very much.